also the president of the world's oldest constitutional democracy.
Since 1871, the United States President and the United States Congress has been playing politics under a different set of rules and policies. The American people do not know that there are two constitutions in the United States. The first penned by the leaders of the newly independent states of the United States in 1776. On July 4, 1776, the people claimed their independence from Britain and Democratic Republic was born. The non-violent revolution begins July 5. Celebrate the 4th like it's the last one ever. Then Saturday and Sunday, you stay home. No gas station, no supermarket, no spending. None. Corporations are designed to make money off us. The government became an Inc. in 1871. To abolish the Act of 1871 where democracy was born, we the do want a democratic republic of 1776, not a democracy. From this point forward we all must push for the abolishing of the corporation, which is literally a monopoly. July 5 Saturday, July 6 Sunday. And for 95 years the United States people were free and independent. That freedom ended in 1871. When the original Constitution for the United States for America was changed to the Constitution of the United States of America. The Congress realized that the country was in dire financial straits, so they made a financial deal with the devil international bankers in those days, the Rothschilds of London, thereby incurring a debt to said bankers. The conniving international bankers were not about to lend the floundering nation any money without some serious stipulations. So, they devised a way of taking back control of the United States, and thus, the Act of 1871 was passed. With no constitutional authority to do so, Congress created a separate form of government for the District of Columbia. With the passage of the Act of 1871, a state within a state called the District of Columbia, located on 10 square miles of land in the heart of Washington, was formed with its own flag and its own independent constitution, the United States' secret second constitution. The flag of Washington's District of Columbia has 3 red stars, each symbolizing a city-state within the 3-city empire. The 3-city empire consists of Washington, D.C., London, and Vatican City. London is the corporate center of the 3 city-states, and controls the world economically. Washington's District of Columbia city-state is in charge of the military, and the Vatican controls it all under the guise of spiritual guidance. Although geographically separate, the city-states of London, the Vatican and the District of Columbia are one interlocking empire called Empire of the City. The Constitution for the District of Columbia operates under tyrannical Vatican law known as Lex Fori, local law. When Congress passed the Act of 1871, it created a separate corporation known as the United States and corporate government for the District of Columbia. This treasonous act has unlawfully allowed the District of Columbia to operate as a corporation outside the original Constitution of the United States and in total disregard of the best interests of the American citizens. POTUS Obama at the Vatican Corporate Headquarters. POTUS is the Chief Executive President of the Corporation of the United States, operating, as any other CEO of the corporation, governs a board of directors, cabinet officials and managers. Senators. Congress. Obama, as others, before him, is POTUS operating as vassal king, taking orders once again from the City of London through the RIIA, Royal Institute of Indian Affairs. The Illuminati, founded by the Society of Jesus or Jesuits, the largest Roman Catholic religious military order headed by the Black Pope, created the Royal Institute of International Affairs RIIA in 1919. The American equivalent to the RIIA is the Council of Foreign Relations CFR. The RIIA and CFR set up round-table groups based on the King Arthur myths. What did the Act of 1871 achieve? The Act of 1871 put the United States back under British rule, which is under Vatican rule. The United States people lost their independence in 1871. The Constitution of the United States of America is the Constitution of the Incorporated United States of America. It operates in an economic capacity, and has been used to fool the people into thinking it governs the Republic. It does not. Capitalization is not insignificant when one is referring to a legal document. This seemingly minor alteration has had a major impact on every subsequent generation of Americans. What Congress did by passing the Act of 1871 was create an entirely new document, a constitution for the government of the District of Columbia, an incorporated government. Instead of having absolute and unalienable rights guaranteed under the organic constitution, we the people now have relative rights or privileges. One example is the sovereign's right to travel, which has now been transformed under corporate government policy into a privilege that requires citizens to be licensed driver's licenses and passports. By passing the Act of 1871, Congress committed treason against the people, who were sovereign under their grants and decrees of the Declaration of Independence and the Organic Constitution. The Act of 1871 became the foundation of all the treason, since committed by government officials. As of 1871, the United States isn't a country, it's a corporation. In preparation for stealing America, the puppets of Britain's banking cabal had already created a second government, a shadow government designed to manage what the people believed was a democratic republic, but what really was an incorporated United States. The nonviolent revolution begins July 5. Celebrate the 4th like it's the last one ever. Then Saturday and Sunday, you stay home. No gas station, no supermarket, no spending. None. Corporations are designed to make money off us. The government became an Inc. in 1871. To abolish the Act of 1871 where democracy was born, we the do want a democratic republic of 1776, not a democracy. From this point forward we all must push for the abolishing of the corporation, which is literally a monopoly. July 5 Saturday, July 6 Sunday. Together this chimera, this two-headed monster, disallowed the people all rights of sui juris. In your sovereignty the USA is a crown colony. The U.S. has always been and remains a British crown colony. King James I is not just famous for translating the Bible into the King James Version, but for signing the first Charter of Virginia in 1606, which granted America's British forefathers license to settle and colonize America. The charter guaranteed future kings/queens of England would have sovereign authority over all citizens and colonized land in America. After America declared independence from Great Britain, the Treaty of Paris, signed on September 3, 1783 was signed. The treaty identifies the King of England as Prince of U.S. Prince George III, by the grace of God, King of Great Britain, France, and Ireland, Defender of the Faith, Duke of Brunswick and Lunenburg, Arch-Treasurer and Prince-Elector of the Holy Roman Empire etc., and of the United States of America, completely contradicting premise that America won the War of Independence. Article 5 of that treaty gave all British estates, rights and properties back to Britain. It is agreed that Congress shall earnestly recommend it to the legislatures of the respective states, to provide for the restitution of all estates, rights, and properties, which have been confiscated belonging to real British subjects, and also of the estates, rights, and properties of persons resident in districts in the possession on His Majesty's arms, and who have not borne arms against the said United States. And that persons of any other description shall have free liberty, to go to any part or parts of any of the 13 United States and therein, to remain 12 months unmolested in their endeavors, to obtain the restitution of such of their estates, rights, and properties, as may have been confiscated, and that Congress shall also earnestly recommend to the several states a reconsideration and revision of all acts or laws regarding the premises, so as to render the said laws, or acts perfectly consistent not only with justice and equity but with that spirit of conciliation which on the return of the blessings of peace should universally prevail. And that Congress shall also earnestly recommend to the several states that the estates, rights, and properties, of such last-mentioned persons shall be restored to them, they refunding to any persons, who may be now in possession the bona fide price, where any has been given, which such persons may have paid on purchasing any of the said lands, rights, or properties since the confiscation. And it is agreed that all persons who have any interest in confiscated lands, either by debts, marriage settlements, or otherwise, shall meet with no lawful impediment in the prosecution of their just rights. it is becoming increasingly apparent to American citizens that government is no longer being conducted in accordance with the U.S. Constitution, or, within states, according to state constitutions. While people have recognized for more than 150 years that the rich and powerful often corrupt individual officials, or exert undue influence to get legislation passed that favors their interests, most Americans still cling to the naive belief that such corruption is exceptional, and that most of the institutions of society, the courts, the press, and law enforcement agencies, still largely comply with the Constitution and the law in important matters. They expect that these corrupting forces are disunited and in competition with one another, so that they tend to balance one another. Mounting evidence makes it clear that the situation is far worse than most people think, that during the last several decades the U.S. Constitution has been effectively overthrown, and that it is now observed only as a facade to deceive and placate the masses. What has replaced it is what many call the shadow government created with the illegal passing of the Act of 1871. It still, for the most part, operates in secret, because its control is not secure. The exposure of this regime and its operations must now become a primary duty of citizens, who still believe in the rule of law and in the freedoms, which this country is supposed to represent. When the President takes the oath of office, he is swearing to defend the Constitution of the District of Columbia, the incorporated government. He isn't promising to preserve, protect and defend the original Pennsylvania Constitution of 1776. See for yourself. I do solemnly swear, or affirm that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States, and will to the best of my ability, preserve, protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. It doesn't state Constitution for the United States of America, which was drafted for we the people of the United States. It is for this reason that Obama never got a declaration of war from Congress for Libya. He didn't need one. Under the Corporation Constitution, the Constitution of the United States, Obama is the CEO and master of this corporate domain called the United States. His loyalty is to the District of Columbia, an incorporated government, which is financially controlled by London and their Federal Reserve bankers, which is controlled by the Vatican. Obama is president of corporate America, looking out for its corporate interests. When the international bankers London wanted more money, they had their banks Goldman Sachs and Bank of America taken over by Bank of Italy in the 1920s, falsely declared billions in losses. The first ever GAO Government Accountability Office audit of the Federal Reserve revealed that London has received more than $16 trillion in U.S. funds under the guise of government bailout. $16 trillion had been secretly given out to us banks and corporate interests and international bankers everywhere from Germany, Italy, France, Sweden, the UK, and Scotland. From the period between December 2007 and September 2011, the Federal Reserve had secretly laundered out over $16 trillion to international banks, corporations, and on-the-take governments. If the American people want to know where their money went, take a look at the Vatican. The Vatican Bank is where most of that $16 trillion went to. Their vaults hold secret numbered accounts, Roman numerals of course, for George W. Bush, Bill and Hillary Clinton, George H. W. Bush, Barack Hussein Obama, Timothy Geithner, Henry Paulson, Tony Blair, David Cameron, Nicolas Sarkozy, Angela Merkel, born Angela Dorothea Kastner. Look also at Citigroup. That bank is used to money launder billions to the Shia Knights of the Holy See for arms dealing, drug trafficking and covert terrorist operations against the United States people. Shia codenamed Al-Qaeda. Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner ignored President Barack Obama's order to consider dissolving Citigroup, because it is the Shia's financial pipeline. The nonviolent revolution begins July 5. Celebrate the 4th like it's the last one ever. Then Saturday and Sunday, you stay home. No gas station, no supermarket, no spending. None. Corporations are designed to make money off us. The government became an Inc. in 1871. To abolish the Act of 1871 where democracy was born, we the do want a democratic republic of 1776, not a democracy. From this point forward we all must push for the abolishing of the corporation, which is literally a monopoly. July 5th Saturday, July 6th Sunday.
But I'm also the president of the world's oldest constitutional democracy.
Please go to the links in the below sections so you can actually see the real information and all the information that goes along with the story that I may be telling you, so you can see the truth of everything, including the Act of 1871. So much love to y'all. Y'all have a great evening. And for my cold dead hands, abolish the Act of 1871.